Welcome to the Fishbowl in Frisco, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter. 73,000 fish heads in Cowboy Nation. Can't be wrong, but the Cowboys can. Let's go straight dope, no bullshit here on Deion Sanders and his candidacy, such as it is, for the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job. If you watched our Breakfast at Fish and Eats program on Thursday morning, weekday, 7:20 live, you now know much more about Brian Schottenheimer and why he's very much a candidate for a top job in Dallas. And it's not just because of Jerry. BetUS, by the way, thank you for your involvement here as well. In addition, of course, to the fish heads in Cowboy Nation. The Deion Sanders first visit with Jerry was a ruse. That was not an interview. It was nothing official about it. And as we reported at the time, it was 99% about Deion trying to get some leverage at Colorado. That doesn't mean there wasn't a 1% chance, and it doesn't mean that we might not want to re-examine one more time that 1% chance, with a lot of Cowboys fans thinking maybe we should pump that up a little bit. Stephen Jones does not agree, by the way. Stephen Jones is fine with the direction this thing is going. If Jerry would like to put his hand back on the steering wheel, the idea of Deion ending up as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys might get a little more traction. I must say this, and I've never been dismissive of Deion. I've been dismissive of the Monday phone call on the same day that they decided to part ways with Mike McCarthy. And now here we are a week and a half later, and it's obviously a fact now. They were not fully prepared for this. They might someday say, "Oh, we always had Shoddy," or that won't be true, no matter how many times they say it. By the way, you can bet on who's who and what's what, including in these NFL playoffs. Go to betus.com, use the promo code YouTube150, and get your 150% discount on your investment in your own genius up to $2,000. Betus.com is the place for that. We've got Troy Aikman saying Deion would be fantastic here. And if you know my history of covering the Cowboys for 35 years, then you know about Troy and Deion and how surprising I was a couple of years ago when Aikman went down to Jackson State to surprise Deion and support him. Because in 1995, you would have never predicted that. That was not the way that locker room worked in 1995. Good for Troy to put that behind him, and maybe good for Deion. Maybe he's grown since that time. We have Michael Irvin pumping hard for Deion. He's on national TV again this week, spelling it out, Deion, saying, "Come on, Jerry, relieve us the 30-year pain and let Deion solve this." Now we have Nick Saban doing it. Nick Saban says, "Deion's my guy. I'm rooting for Deion to get that job. Deion should get that job. I want him to get that job." And it's one thing for Michael to do it. They've been best friends for decades. It's another level for Aikman to do it. Aikman is he's a thumbs up Cowboy guy. I bet you Aikman would say nice things about Brian Schottenheimer too. He certainly said great things about Mike McCarthy. Aikman following the tradition of Roger Staubach, that, hey, if there's good things to say about the Cowboys, there's in his heart, they're still my Cowboys, and I want to say those things. But Saban takes it to another level. This can't just be about Aflac commercials. Cowboys have interviewed 4 candidates for the position. I have pointed out that the origin of the Deion thing was mostly about trying to get a pay bump at Colorado. There's nothing that's happened in the last 11 days that has changed that for me, and nothing has changed that in Boulder or at the Star either. But it's fascinating to me that the Deion movement is not just about old pals. It's about Nick Saban too, and they aren't old pals. They're new pals. And I don't think Saban, it's not like Deion played at Alabama or played for Nick. I don't know Saban really at all. We had did one interview with Saban a couple of years ago, and it was on the subject of somebody who did play at Alabama, who he was trying to endorse and trying to help to kind of get back on the football map. And that was cool. But otherwise, I can't claim to know Nick Saban or his motivation. But he doesn't have an investment in the Cowboys. He hasn't been friends with Deion for 30 years. I think Nick Saban really believes that Deion can coach. Now, the way this search has gone, everything in the public eye and everything in privately too, it can change like that. I think we know the flow now. We know the Schottenheimer flow, and we know why, because I told you why this morning at 7:20. We've also talked about it and written about it at cowboyscountry.com, and I encourage you to go there. As always, straight, dope, no bullsh. I'm not bashing Deion any more than I'm bashing Shanahan. I'm not bashing Steven either. But there's a reason that this is going the direction it's going. And maybe there's just one more chance for Jerry and Steven to take a deep breath and wonder, is Aikman onto something? Is Michael onto something? And if Nick Saban says it, maybe we ought to listen. Thank you to BetUS. Thanks to you as well. Fish at 6 live weeknights. And we will have much, much more for you on the Cowboys coaching carousel and more. Fish at 6 tonight here and at cowboyscountry.com. Thanks to BetUS. Thanks to you as well. For now, Fish out.